Hi, I'm Bob Nystrom.
Hi, this is Bo Dietl.
Hey, this is Rich Big Daddy Salgado.
Hi, this is Don Goodney, and you're watching Sports Biz.
Sports Biz.
Sports Biz with LD.
Sports fans, this is Sports Biz with LD.
Welcome to Sports Biz with LD. I'm your host, Larry Davis. Brought to you by the Rampart Insurance Group. For all your insurance needs, rampartinsurancegroup.com. A1 VIP Entertainment. For all your ticket and VIP needs. Meet a player, meet a celebrity, musician, VIP Entertainment is your place. 388 Restaurant and Lounge, 388 Willis Avenue, Roslyn, New York, and EZ Pawn Corp. 14 locations throughout the city. You need money, you need cash right now, EZ Pawn is your place. Also, Sports Biz with LD on the Facebook, Sports Biz with LD on the Twitter, and you can go to our website, sportsbizwithld.com. And of course, we have to thank the Daily Blue. Wow, we're back and off my chest, and I got a few things we got to talk about. We have some great interviews also on the show today, but let's get right into the things that are bothering me, things that I'm thinking about, as we like to call this segment, off my chest. The FCC, which governs everything, this show no one else has, that the whole thing going on with the Washington Redskins, about they're all over Daniel Snyder, the owner, that the Indian people do not want the Redskin name used. They want him to change the name. He does not want to change the name. He believes that it should stay the way it is. But there are some people out there who have that on their agenda. They want the name changed. So now the FCC is getting involved a little bit, and there's rumors out that the FCC is going to not allow people, well, I shouldn't say that if you use the Redskin name, they will fine you like it's a curse word. I mean, I don't get that. I mean, what is the FCC fighting this battle for? What do they have to do with this? I don't get it. So are there other minorities out there that the FCC is going to try to fight for? Listen, there's nothing wrong fighting for something. But why are you picking on the Redskin? I don't understand it. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with the Redskin thing. I mean, listen, I think that's their name, and I think it's a respect thing. I don't look at it as a bad thing, but everyone has their opinion. I don't get what the FCC is doing here. I don't know why they're trying to get involved. It is a rumor. Doesn't mean it's true, but when there's smoke, there's fire, and I think that the FCC is going to come out with this, and I don't agree at all. Moving on to the NFL and DirecTV. See, this is the problem you're going to have when you're dealing with the NFL, whose ratings, again, are through the roof. The NFL is the top 10 or 15 rated shows once they're on TV. And again, this year, it is the same. DirecTV and the NFL just signed a deal, a $20 billion deal, to broadcast all the games on DirecTV, and with that very exciting channel that everybody loves, the Red Zone channel included, of course. Where the Red Zone channel is all about, as soon as a team gets inside the 20-yard line on offense, Red Channel goes to it. So you can just watch the scoring. People love that channel. So here we are with all the marks lately against the NFL, with Roger Goodell, who only came out of the witness protection program once in the last 2 weeks. Adrian Peterson problem, domestic violence problem, and the NFL's ratings are through the roof, and they'll continue to sign deals like this. So you do have a few sponsors who are saying they're pulling out. I haven't seen anyone pull out. I've seen some sponsors say, as they should, We're not happy. We're going to watch the situation. They're not pulling out. Because if they pull out, let me tell you something, there's another 10 businesses just like them ready to pay all the money the NFL wants. So the NFL machine just continues even with these problems. And even with Roger Goodell not doing a very good job here. I mean, hiding, not coming out. At least, Commissioner Goodell, raise your hand, say you made a mistake. We live in the world where we give everyone second chances and people respect you more. Yeah, you got all the players now coming down on you because the way you came down on them, that you're the judge and jury. And you shouldn't be the judge and jury. And the other major sports, they have someone in this position. That's one of the things I think you should definitely do. Bring someone else who's in the team, in the NFL family, who's going to make these decisions. You should not be involved. The commissioner should be doing what he does best, which is bring these deals in. And I'll tell you another thing. Is Roger Goodell such a great commissioner, or can anybody be doing these deals? These companies are throwing money at the NFL like crazy. What is the NFL doing? Throwing a number up all the way here and see if you'll pay. If you don't pay, then negotiate down. You know, when you go into a meeting and you have the #1 watched program on TV, the big boys with the big money who want to spend it on being up there with the best, you're going to get them anyhow. So like I said earlier, so if Budweiser leaves, Miller and Coors are ready right there. And maybe even one of the lesser ones because they realize you spend the money, you're going to get back the return. DirecTV, the NFL, CBS now, Thursday Night Football, the money just comes pouring in. And when these deals are done, all the NFL does is raise the price. You know, let's move on to the National League, the playoffs, the wild card. You know, the wild card game between the Pirates and San Francisco the other night, which ended up being a blowout, wasn't even close, was the most watched wild card game ever. Can you imagine ever? That baseball, which I keep saying is so boring, and you have two teams in not big markets. I mean, San Francisco, okay, it's not LA, but it's right there, and Pittsburgh. And you have the most watched wild card game ever by over 20%? Wow, I'm wrong on that. I mean, you know, we say the NFL is America's game, which it is, and baseball keeps saying they are too. I guess they are. People watching these games, when you don't have the big names, you got Kansas City in there. Let's see how Kansas City does in the ratings. You see, and the difference when you break it down. Kansas City, yeah, they will be high in the ratings. But will the country be watching? Because the country is watching San Francisco, Pittsburgh. Could it be because it's a one-game playoff? I don't know. We will see. But record-breaking numbers of over 20%. Wow, that's some big numbers. The other thing that's interesting, you know, you look at this show, and this show is streaming. Fox, which has the rights to all the baseball, is streaming every single playoff game. Like Corinne, who owns this channel, says all the time, it's streaming is what this business is. And that's what it is, because there they are. The big boys are doing it. Fox is streaming every single baseball playoff game. So you could watch it anywhere. Isn't that what it's all about? Us fans, us people being able to watch it when we want. DVR it, watch it live anywhere we are. And again, tons of money in all these things for advertising dollars. Cha-ching, cha-ching. These teams, these leagues are just making so much money. I don't know what could hurt them. When you look at the NFL with those things, nothing's hurting them. The machine keeps rolling along. A couple more things off my chest. A couple of things that happened on this date and yesterday, October 2nd, 1978, at Fenway, Bucky Dent hits one of the biggest home runs in baseball history and Yankee history. Bucky Dent hits the home run, if I recall, it was the 7th or 8th inning, and hits a 3-run homer over the monster. And the Yankees in a one-game playoff where people forget Goose Gossage went 2 2/3 as a reliever. That guy's a closer. He went 2 2/3 that game, and the Yankees beat the Red Sox. When the Yankees came back from 14 games back after George fires Billy Martin, brings in Bob Lemon, and they beat the Red Sox in a one-game playoff and go on to win the World Series. And one more thing happened today. 20 years ago today, O.J. Simpson gets acquitted. I guess the glove did not fit. And 20 years later, as of today, O.J. Simpson is a free man. Well, he's not free anymore, but as of that day, he was. That's off my chest. Those the things as usual. Always have on my mind, good, bad, ugly, as Clint Eastwood would say from one of the great movies, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. A couple of weeks ago, my producer and Mike and Rob went out to a couple of places. Love going on, different locations. We went to the boxing at the Paramount Theater in Huntington. We went there the day of the weigh-in. We got to interview a few guys. The headliner was a young guy called Cletus Selden, the Hebrew Hammer. Let's go to the first interview we did with him, and then Mike, our producer, did an unbelievable job keeping the cameras rolling. But let's go to the first interview that I did with Cletus. Larry Davis, Sports Biz with LD. We are here live at the Paramount for Joe DeGuardia's Star Boxing. And here we are, Cletus Selden, the Hebrew Hammer. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on? About 2 minutes away from weigh-ins. About to get that last. I think I got 0.2 over, so I'm about to go pee real quick and then get ready to get a knockout tomorrow night.
You already have 10 knockouts, 13-0 with 10 knockouts. Is that your thing? You knock everybody out?
Yeah, at 140 pounds, there's nobody stronger than me at 140 pounds. I've competed in bodybuilding. I've built a foundation over the years of my life that at 140 pounds, with my attitude and my tenacity, I don't see anybody standing in there with me.
And you're the Hebrew Hammer. So tell us a little bit about your background, because me being a Jewish guy, there's not many of us in sports. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I always make this joke about a Jewish athletes. You get like an Italian athlete, you go in a book there, they got like a encyclopedia. They're like, oh, look at all these Italian guys. There's so many of them. You get like Jewish athletes, like going to a restaurant, you get a little menu, you like flip it over. Okay, there's Sandy Koufax. Oh, there's one. I didn't know he was Jewish. That's pretty much different with celebrities, but for athletes, it's a different thing. I got the name from my amateur days. I was always going around to all these tournaments across the country, and I was knocking everyone out. And usually in the amateurs, you really don't get too many knockouts. But I was knocking everyone out, and they were like, wow, that guy has a hammer on him. And then, what is he? They're like, I think he's Jewish. So next thing you know, after going to each tournament and they're always getting the same name, came up the Hebrew Hammer. And I'm glad I got it. And I'm proud to be Jewish. I had my bar mitzvah and everything. And my parents are Jewish, and it's great. It's a great thing.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Eastern Long Island in Shirley, New York. And it's a blue-collared, rough town. You're only as big as you dream. So like my father wanted me to dream to be a mechanic. My father had the same thing for my brother. He wanted him to be a mechanic. My brother, here today, he had just got back from doing rotations at the hospital because he's going to be a doctor. I'm main eventing at the Paramount this evening, so tomorrow night. I fought on ESPN, so you're only as big as you dream.
Parents have done a good job. Let's talk about Joe DeGuardia, Star Boxing. How'd you hook up with Joe?
When I first started boxing, there was no boxing on Long Island. I started fighting in Florida, fought in Madison Square Garden, fought in Brooklyn, and all of a sudden, Joe DeGuardia decided to start throwing shows at the Paramount. And after the first fight I had with him, he signed me right away. He put me in a tough fight too. My eyes swelled up, but I kept on fighting and throwing some hard body shots, got the stoppage, and right from there, Joe signed me.
Give us a prediction for tomorrow night.
I usually call it 2.5. Usually after 2.5 rounds, the pressure usually bursts, and I usually get them. But tomorrow, the kid's a little bit shorter, so I'm actually going to be able to use my jab. Maybe I'll show some boxing skills, but I'm always there to go out for the knockout.
And where can tell everybody where they can find you? You're tweeting, you got a Facebook. Tell us all that good stuff.
On Facebook, you got Cletus the Hammer Selden. On Twitter, Cletus Selden. And on Instagram, they call me the Bear Jew USA. So that's where you can find me.
Cletus Selden, the Hebrew Hammer, here at the Paramount tomorrow night. Joe DeGuardia, Star Boxing. Cletus, thank you, buddy. You gotta love Cletus. Listen, you can think you're a great interviewer, but when you have someone like him who's just out there and passionate and fun and answers some great questions, that was good stuff. And then the smart thing, I kept talking to him, and fortunately, Mike, who the producer, engineer, the guy does it all except, I guess, interview people, kept the cameras rolling. And I started asking Cletus some more questions, asking him, about his faith. Does he go to temple? What's his pre-fight meal? All that good stuff. Let's go back to the second part of the Cletus Selden, the Hebrew Hammer interview.
Now, any davening or anything beforehand? What do we got? We got anything? Davening, a little blessings or
No.
anything in temple?
I
Like that?
used to, and then it all came down to, as long as I worked hard enough and didn't believe in luck, then I'll perform and made sure I did everything I could before I got into that ring. Because if you're just going on luck, then your mind's not right. I know I put everything I had to in not just this fight, but all the fights leading up to this fight. So I go to training camp. I put everything I have to into every fight. I stay away from drinking, hanging out with people. I do everything I'm supposed to for my job. This is my job. This is my business. This is what I do. I'm a professional fighter. This is my job.
And it's good stuff for kids out there, follow a guy like you, Jewish kids as well.
Yes.
I don't want to keep harping on it, but listen, there's a lot of Jewish kids out there who don't think they could, be into sports or be into boxing. You're right. It's funny that you said, but there's only 1 or 2 pages of Jewish guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all kids. Even last Friday, I went down to my old high school football team. I spoke to them, told them about believing in each other and how to become a champion. Because when I played there, I became a champion. And they tore it up, and they went out there and won 49-0. So.
And then one other thing, I saw you at the weigh-in totally strip. Is that normal? Really? Right, Mikey? Did we get that on tape? We got that on tape, just so you know.
My cover photo on my Facebook, some guy took a picture of me butt-ass naked in front of, it was ESPN too. So all these cameras are flashing, and the guy took a picture of me of just holding my junk there. I made it my cover photo so no one just leave me alone about it. But I don't like to make the weight until I gotta be that moment. I'm walking on the scale, it says 141. I weigh 141 right then and there. I'm not gonna go weigh 148, 149. I like to weigh it right then and there. Cutting it close, my trainers don't like it, but that's the way I do it.
Is it that difficult to make weight? What are you walking around at?
If I was walking around about 152, 153. If I was fighting 147, I would have done the same thing today. I would have came here, weighed 147. That's it. That moment.
And now how does that happen? I don't remember his name, but the other, last week Money Mayweather fought that gentleman for the second time. Madonna. And they said that after the first fight he weighed in, and then he was like 10 pounds more the next day. How does that happen?
Oh, I'll probably be about 10 pounds by the time I get back to my house, which is an hour. I like to just dehydrate yourself with all the water and just fill it right back up. That's why I do it the last moment. I don't do it last week and then hold it off and suffer for all the whole week. I just do it slow at a time, and then usually today's the worst day. But I got all you guys here to keep me nice and happy and occupied so I don't have to think about it.
One last question, what's your pre-fight meal?
I go to my aunt's house, and she makes me the worst chicken and pasta. She makes me the worst one, but I always get it. Everyone always invites me out to the restaurant to get all these nice. But my tradition, I always go to her house and have her dinner.
The tradition works, buddy. You're undefeated.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Cletus, I guess you call him a character. I love him. I love that guy. He's entertaining. We're going to have him sit in this seat and come because I know he's a big sports fan. We'll talk about other sports he loves. I think he was telling me that he was going down for Jeter's final game in Boston. Love that when guys in different sports like to go to other sports, talk about it, get involved, respect other athletes. Gotta love all that. We're going to have Cletus on set. The other interview we did was I felt that we need to go, as you know, I like to get the owner or the manager or the person who's putting stuff together. Joe DeGuardia, Star Boxing, who is the promoter, the manager, the guy like I'm saying, who put it all together. We stopped and spoke to him also at the weigh-in. Joe DeGuardia, also very good interview, has some other boxes. Let's go to the tape on Joe DeGuardia, the owner, promoter, Star Boxing.
Larry Larry Davis, Sports Biz with LD. Joe DeGuardia, Star Boxing. What's happening, Joe?
Doing good, Larry. Everything's going well, and looking forward to tomorrow night's show.
Oh, we're all looking forward to tomorrow night's show. Why the Paramount, you and these guys over here in Huntington?
Oh, well, look, the Paramount to me is just the perfect boxing location. It's a great little venue, great for rock gigs and everything else that they do here. But it's beautiful for boxing as well. And if you haven't seen a boxing match, you have to come see one here at the Paramount.
I agree, man. I'm walking around this place. I love it. Tell us a little bit about your background. How did Star Boxing come about?
Well, we've been around since the early 90s, and basically started, when I had a couple of guys that I fought in the Golden Gloves with, and they asked me to help manage them first. And I started managing, and that management left to promotions, and when I got into promotions, it just mushroomed out from there.
And what was the turning point? In every business, whatever it is, promoting, boxing, any business, what was the turning point? What was the talent? What was the boxer who really put you on the map?
Boxing has a lot of turning points. It's a wild kind of game. And, I had a whole bunch of them that really I could look back to. My first guy was Lou DeVal, became world champion. I've gone through so many different guys from, Antonio Tarver, getting him the world championship, beating Roy Jones, straight on down to the guys that we have today, between Demetrius Andrade, world champion, U.S. Olympian, Chris Algieri now is going to fight Manny Pacquiao. I mean, we've had so many good experiences with so many good fighters and good people.
Let's talk about Chris Algieri, another hometown talent right here in Long Island. You hooked up with Chris. Now he's fighting Manny Pacquiao, man. I mean, when I texted you, where were you, in China or Tokyo on the tour?
Well, the tour was a long tour. We did 27,000 miles, actually close to 28,000 miles, of various countries and cities throughout the world, throughout in the United States here as well. And it was a fantastic tour. It was a lot of fun. It was good to hang out with both guys who I think are great ambassadors for the sport. Manny Pacquiao, he's a 8 or 9-time world champion. He's a legend in his own right. He's a congressman. He owns a basketball team. He plays basketball for the basketball team that he owns. So he's got a lot of positive aspects to him. And then you look at Chris Algieri, another thing, another great ambassador for the sport. I mean, here you have a guy that has a graduate's degree, a master's degree. He's got a Bachelor of Science degree from Stony Brook over here in Long Island. Put his medical school studies on hold to pursue his boxing career. These are great ambassadors for the sport. These are good people that the youth can look up to and emulate, and it's a good thing to be involved with two people that are both solid athletes inside the ring, but also real characters outside the ring.
And I read somewhere where they were playing basketball together, cards together, and Chris won everything, and they were saying, "Oh, Manny, just let him win."
Yeah, it was really interesting. Manny took the jump on a lot of them. In bowling, basketball. Which Manny's a basketball player anyway, the pool game. But, Chris did win them all. I think Chris is 4-0 against them right now. And the key thing is to be 5-0 when we take him on November 22nd on pay-per-view here in the United States. Everybody go watch it.
As they should. And now one last thing. We're here at Cletus Selden, the Hebrew Hammer. I mean, he predicted a knockout, Joe. I just want you to know we interviewed him earlier.
Yeah, well, that's, those are pretty much the odds typically. So it's in his favor because he pretty much knocks everybody out, But look, he's got a tough fighter in front of him. He's fighting a real veteran, a guy who's fought everybody, all the top guys in the industry. And, he's going to have to really dig down and do what he has to do. But I'm confident in it. I've got a lot of confidence in Cletus. I love watching him fight. He's exciting. He's dynamic, and he can punch like a mule. So that's a good thing.
Joe, just tell everyone out there, how do they get in touch with you, Star Boxing, and all that good stuff?
Well, firstly, for the fights here at the Paramount, always go to Ticketmaster. You can get in touch with us at www.starboxing.com. Catch us on Twitter, catch us on Facebook, like us on it all of it's Star Boxing. Everything straight through, and get in touch with us anytime.
Joe, thanks for being on Sports Biz with LD, man. Appreciate it.
Boxing, I really like him. He cares about the fighters. He puts some good shows together. He's got fighters fighting some big fights. He's got Chris Algieri fighting Manny Pacquiao next month. So go to Joe DeGuardia, StarBoxing.com for all upcoming fights. And, of course, Cletus Selden, Look for Cletus. Google him, CletusSeldon.com, and see what's going on in Cletus's world. Amazing how quickly it goes. I want to thank our sponsors. Rampart Insurance Group for all your insurance needs, rampartinsurancegroup.com. A1 VIP Entertainment for all your ticket and meet and greet needs. A1 VIP Entertainment is the place. 388 Restaurant and Lounge, 388 Willis Avenue in Roslyn, New York, and EZPorn.com. EZPorn.com. You need it. You want it. You need cash right away. 14 locations throughout the city. EZPorn.com. SportsBizWithLD.com is our website. We will have extended stuff, like a Buddy Harrelson interview, and maybe even some more cool stuff on the website. So SportsBizWithLD.com. You can always tweet me at SportsBizWithLD. And of course, you can Facebook us, Sports Biz with LD. I'm your host, Larry Davis. This is Sports Biz with LD.